How's it going, guys? My name's Philip with Super Pacific, and today I'm going to walk you through a Cloudcap install on our shop Sprinter van. When you get your Cloudcap, you're also going to receive the pass-through, your mounting brackets, your hardware, and then all of the latch mechanism and the hardware for the latch. Some common tools you're going to need are going to be an air saw or a jigsaw to cut a hole in the roof, a grinder, a die grinder to deburr the edge, some paint to treat the raw edge, drill impact, a step bit, some Allen wrenches, and then your adhesive of choice. We use Sikaflex 221, and then some lap sealant. So our pass-through has these grooves in it that index on the roof, so when you set it down, it really goes in one place. So once the pass-through is up here, I'm gonna take a marker and just trace the interior of the pass-through, and then I'm gonna drill a couple pilot holes for my jigsaw, and then we'll cut the hole here. So once I have my pilot holes drilled, I'll take a step bit and just blow out the hole so that I can fit my blade of my jigsaw or an air saw. Just gonna grab some masking tape and mask off the edges so I don't scratch the top of the van with the jigsaw. Okay, now that our hole's cut, I'm gonna use this die grinder to deburr all the edges. I'm gonna grab a deburring tool and deburr the edges before I paint it too. Before I paint it and glue down the pass-through, I'm just gonna grab some alcohol and clean up the surface. Now I'm just gonna treat the edge with some enamel paint. Okay, so once the pass-through's cut and it's painted, I like to drill some 1/8" holes around the rim of where the pass-through is, just so that once I glue the pass-through down, I can screw it to the roof of the van and make sure that sucks up as tight as possible. So the next step is we're gonna take some 1/4" foam and wrap the edge of this so that when you bolt the tent down, there's a nice weather seal between the bottom of the tent and the top of the pass-through. What I like to do for gluing this down is I like to do a bead all the way around the outside and then another bead on the inside, just so there's 2 layers of sealant and adhesive holding this thing down. We'll stick it on the roof, and then after we'll go underneath and screw it to the roof of the van as well. And then I'm gonna screw the pass-through onto the top of the van just to make sure that it squeezes the pass-through and all the glue and make sure that it's a watertight seal. Just for another layer of protection, I'm gonna do a bead of Sikaflex around the edge. Just give it another layer of protection against water intrusion. So before you install your Cloudcap, you wanna make sure to remove this lower latch cover plate. The camshaft goes in there, so you're gonna need access to this area. And you can't take it off when it's on the van, so it's a lot easier to just take these screws out before you install it. 2 bolts that thread into the latch mechanism. Okay, so while we have our Cloudcap on the ground, we are gonna take our brackets and get them mounted up before we hoist it up and put it on the van. It's a lot easier to mount these to the bottom of the tent before it's up there. These are the hardware that you have. So you have these M8 T-nuts. We just want to make sure that we put anti-seize on them before you put them in, just so you don't seize up the nylock. You get 6 of these, so I put 1 at the front, 1 in the middle, and then 1 on the back on both sides. Then also you'll notice that the arrow, the cut in that, gets pointed out. Before we drop the tent on the roof, we're going to slide in these carriage bolt plates. Also a good time if you're going to install a ladder or anything else that is going to go into this roof rail, that you put the pucks or whatever mounting carriage bolt plates in right now before you put the tent on. Okay, so once you get it up here, you might have to loosen the hardware a little bit just to get it shifted in the right area and square with the van. So we got ours squared up. We're gonna tighten down all the hardware, and then we're gonna do the latch. Okay, so once the cloud cap is on the van, you'll notice on the floor that there is some excess. So we're gonna trim that out. You can use a router. I'm gonna use a multi-tool, whatever you wanna use. And we're just gonna cut that flush with the pass-through. All right, so when you get your cloud cap, you're gonna get an extra long camshaft that you might have to trim down to accommodate for the width of your pass-through material. So once your cloud cap is on the van, the next step is to put in your camshaft into the latch. So you'll see there's a hole down here and a hole in the pass-through. We're just gonna feed this through the hole here and into the pass-through, like so. And then that's what opens and closes the latch. All right, so now that your camshaft is poking through, normally if this was a finished van, you'd trim out this pass-through with bamboo or whatever you have on your ceiling to match your van to simulate that piece of wood where you just had a piece of scrap acrylic that we're gonna use. But basically that latch plate goes over this, and then we're gonna bolt that in there, and then your lever is gonna mount to this. Noteworthy that these bolts come with a magnet. And so we want to make sure that the magnet is on the bolt. Okay, and then the next step is you're going to take this latch. You're just going to see there's a set screw here. So we're just going to put this on the lever and tighten it from the bottom. Give that a couple turns. So now that your latch is installed and the cover is still off, it'd be a good time just to open and close the pop top a couple times just to make sure it's opening correctly. Once it's opening correctly and you feel good about it, then we can put this cover back on and then we're done. Okay, now that we tested the latch and the opening and closing, we're just gonna put this cover back on. So this string here, once you pull that, is gonna release your latch mechanism so you can open your cloud cap. Pull that. So the first step is you're gonna grab a 3mm and remove the lower latch plate cover. Then to remove the top plate cover, you're gonna grab a 4mm and there's 2 bolts on the back side. So if your latch isn't latching, is not catching that final click, the first thing I would do is loosen these. They're both 5mm bolts, and pull the latch down as far as you can, and that should give it a little bit more travel to hopefully bolt closed. So the second point of adjustment on your latch is the actual latch mechanism and then this lower plate. So if you need to adjust it, you can loosen these with the 5mm, loosen both of those, and then you're gonna take a 4mm and loosen the latches. So now that your hardware is loosened up, you can see this latch plate has some play up and down, and then your actual latch has some play up and down as well. So you can raise it up if it needs help latching, or if it's not sealing, you can lower it. So we're just gonna close it and make sure that this latches. So as that closes, see, catches the latch. That's closed, now it's latched. Now we can unlatch it, put the lower cover on, put the top cover on, and then you're good to go. All right, so now that your pop top is closed, we're gonna turn this, and then you're gonna go a little bit past 90, and you hear that positive click. Now you know that your latch is locked. And then this is the safety. So that goes right over the latch, that. So as you're driving, secondary safety, it also keeps the lever from unlocking. And there's magnets behind it to keep that plate on there. You take this off, turn that 180 degrees, and you're gonna push up on the cloud cap and that'll open it. So now that you got your cloud cap installed, we're gonna go over some best practices for opening and closing your cloud cap, as well as some accessories that we recommend. So the first step is to unlatch and take the safety off the cover plate for your latch. This safety plate from your latch. Then you're gonna turn the lever 180 degrees, and then you're gonna give it a solid push up, and the gas stretch should lift the rest of the tent. So every cloud cap comes with the Xped MegaMat Duo. It's a self-inflating 4-inch mattress. So when you get to camp, the first thing you want to do is open this valve right here that says in, and then you can either let it inflate or you can grab one of our pumps and blow it up. So your cloud cap comes with 4 of these vents. There's 1 on each side and 2 on the front. So to open your vent, you're gonna remove this flap and then attach it to the Velcro at the top of the vent, like so. Then you're gonna unclip this clip, pull the tension tight on both sides, and then you're gonna clip it back together, and that's gonna open the fiberglass batten on the other side that pushes it out so you can get fresh airflow. So when you're getting ready to close your cloud cap, we recommend at least having one of the windows opening so that the air can escape. And the easiest way to roll these up is to first fold them in half and then roll them up. There are these little toggles on the inside, clip it, and that will hold your door open. So some of the accessories you'll see on our van, we have the Fiamma F45 and the 260 length. You could also do the 300. It's just gonna overhang past the end caps of your tent. We have a MaxxAir fan up top, 2 210-watt solar panels, Yakima crossbars, and then we have a 50-inch Baja Designs light bar up front. So welcome to the Super Pacific family. We're stoked to see where you take your cloud cap. Tag us in all your adventures at superpacific_vans.